of our Mamano. As they hover over the waters of chaos, with only a roof over their head and wondering if it's home. And going to a hotel room or going to another home and realizing that maybe it's not their home. And they're trying to fit in. They're trying to be loved. They're trying to give back. They're trying to pour themselves out. But they are children of separation and divorce. If you're not one of them, you know someone who is. And you have the privilege of navigating the waters with them, of ministering with them. In our scripture lesson today, it says that people brought the children to Jesus. I always thought it was the parents who brought the children to Jesus, but that's not what it says. It says the people, not just the parents, brought the children to Jesus. And we as a church are here to minister to all children, but in particular the children who are hopeless, who are homeless, though on the outside they look like they have it all together. But on the inside they're in great pain and isolation and loneliness. I never realized what it was like for children to be in children's of separation and divorce. I didn't realize that along the highways of I-20 are drop-off points where one parent would drive hours to pick up a child or children and wait in the parking lot as that other parent with tears in their eyes are dropping off that child for their children. And there in that parking lot of Books A Million or another place that is so public is a great chasm of despair and disarray. And it is there in those settings that I think Jesus would gather those children and bring them closer to Himself and touch them. Have you been touched by the gospel lesson today? Does it touch you? Sure, there's a lot of talk in here about the divorce and what that is, and the Pharisees testing Him. Their motives were not right. But it ends with the blessing of children. For teachers, I don't know how many students in your classrooms come from single family units, single parent units. For those who are in a business, how many of your coworkers have been through divorce? For coaches and players in sports and dance teams and cheerleading, how many of your friends are products of divorce? A lot of my divorced friends say, I had a hard time going out in public because I always felt like I had a flashing neon sign over my head. This town is so small. People know all my business. Where am I welcome? And I want to say you are welcome here inside these red doors. That this is a safe place. It is a place of healing. It is a place of hope. It is for adults and it is for children of all ages. For our teachers and our youth leaders, we are here as advocates for you to let you know that we are like those people who want to bring you to Jesus Christ. Why? Because it is Jesus Christ who wants to bless you and to touch your heart in a beautiful and pure way. This whole world has got bad news all around us. I found out this week what happened to Elizabeth Smart when she was kidnapped. She lost her innocence. Why is it that when we're children, we want to grow up so fast, and when we get grown up, we wish we hadn't grown up so fast? Why is it that children are so beautiful and nice, occasionally mean to one another in schools, but then when we hit puberty and we go through adolescence, all of a sudden we begin to lose that innocence for choices that we make. And then we spend the rest of our life regretting it and trying to get back to where we want to be. It is for people like that maybe you're echoing today, that Jesus comes toward you and He wants to bring you into His arms. I love that verse. He took them up in His arms. His arms. A carpenter's arms are strong. Why? Because he received that unconditional love that only children really can bring. When I get mad at my children and I'm boiling and steaming and mad, and they get mad at me, we have our little moments of go to our separate ways. What I've always noticed about children is how quickly they can forgive. And we can forgive children too. Now, one of us in this room is perfect. Every one of us falls short. We all make mistakes. But our homes, hovering over the waters of our own Mamano River, have the potential to bring healing and hope. When we were along that mission trip, Wynn said that you couldn't find the men. Where were the men? You know where the men were? The men were out working. They were on the river catching fish. And this same place where the professor came back and said, Hallelujah, immediately after that, the Father appeared. And in his boat were 5 small little fish. And he would feed his family. And I thought, wow, they've got it right. It's a simple life. My goodness, it's a simple life. But then they could spend the rest of the time together. We saw families together. And it was a blessing. Children need families to be together. And Jesus, when He called them to Himself and He placed them in their arms, He then blessed them, and then what did He do? He gave them back to their families. And that's what we want on Sunday mornings. For all of you who are a part of Sunday school, you know that when you go up on that 3rd floor, our children are going to receive the good news of Jesus Christ. It's important. You get them there. If you're not here, they can't get there. But because they're there, they're going to hear the story of love and grace and this Jesus who places children in His arms. A year later, Jesus would outstretch those arms on a wooden timber of the Roman Empire. And He would die on the cross for every child. Every child, whatever age. So what do we do for those who are brokenhearted? Those whose lives have been shattered because of separation or divorce? I want to say to you that this church welcomes those who are brokenhearted, those who are in disarray, those who are traveling so far